Hello, for this video I'm going to show how I created these two watercolour paintings in my sketchbook. And it's spring here in the UK and I'm absolutely surrounded by trees which are getting their leaves, and many of them are in blossom, and it's just absolutely beautiful, and I cannot help but feel that I need to paint some trees. So I want to see if I can create two really loose landscapes with trees in them, but I don't want to be too literal, and I'm going to be using an intentional bloom to create some trees, and I'm also going to be using a wet and wet technique to see what I can do. Now I'm just laying down my background sky here, and for that colour I'm using burnt sienna and Winsor violet, and that makes a really nice sort of pinky colour when you mix them together. And the other colours that I'll use are Paynes grey, cobalt blue, and just a little bit of lemon yellow added to the cobalt blue to make a green. I'm going to be using a white watercolour titanium white, which is basically like a white gouache. And I'll also be using a little bit of Aquapasto, which is a watercolour medium. And I like to add that sometimes to later layers, just to add a bit of body to the watercolour, where you can create a little bit of texture into the paint. So my inspiration for these two paintings came from a walk along the river, and I really want to incorporate that feeling of the reflections in the river, and the river was quite still, so I'm going to be making those reflections, I think, with quite sharp edges to try and really convey the stillness of the water. But I'm laying my colours down, and I'm really not trying to paint any one particular view, and I'm being very loose in my interpretation of what I saw. I really want to keep this painting quite abstract and loose and almost a bit dreamlike. It's a pure watercolour painting, and it's going to be really important to not overwork it and to let the watercolour move around as it wants to. And that's what I'm really trying to do here, is to not overwork the painting and to stop when I'm happy with it. And at this point you can start to see that paint on the left hand painting. The cobalt blue is quite wet and it's moving up into the grey, and it's starting to form a bloom, and that bloom will create a tree like shape. Okay, so I'm going to put the music up for a little bit now, and then I'll jump in again in a bit. Okay, so I'm really happy with how this painting on the left is looking, and it's time to stop working on it. I was tempted to keep going, but I think sometimes it's safe to stop while you're still happy. So I'm just going to work on the one on the right, which doesn't feel quite so finished, and I'm going to be adding in some more trees. So these two paintings are finished now, and I'm just going to take the tape off. So I'm really happy with how these paintings turned out. I really like both of them, and especially the one on the left. And I think I'm going to be experimenting with more trees in the future. So maybe it's inspired you to do something similar, or maybe you have your own way of painting trees. And if you do, then I'd be interested to hear about it in the comments, or if you do try it out, it'd be interesting to hear how you get on. And if you did like the video, then please hit like. And if you'd like to see similar videos in the future and you're not subscribed, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And I hope to see you in the next video. Okay, thank you. Bye.